Alright everyone, in this video I wanted to do a video on Azure Storage account in terms of DP200 and or 203, which is the newer version of the exam, and whatever you need to know. So let's just get started. Make sure that it's recording. Yeah, it is recording just fine. So what we'll do, we'll try to do some theory and go for some slides, and we'll also do some hands-on. So maybe just let's just go and take a look at Azure and just see how easy it is to deal with the storage accounts. So all you need to do, come to your Azure portal. If you don't have one, get a free account, go to portal.azure.com and sign up for one. And I'm just gonna search for storage accounts, and there we go. So I have a whole bunch already in here, and creation of the account. So what we'll do, let's just create some account even before we start our presentation. So the experience of creating the storage account is very similar to any other account creation process that you follow in Azure. So you just click on add, and it's taking some time right now, but it doesn't really take that much. So I'm just gonna click it one more time, see if that helps. Sometimes the Azure is down or the portal, there's something is going on. So now it showed up. So for this lab, let's just create DP 200 test. Okay, that is the resource group that I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do, so this is where it really a little bit confusing. So this is where I want to spend a lot of time with you guys so you understand everything that you need to know. So the first page is really, you need to choose a resource group just like anybody else. Storage account, it has to be globally unique. You have to create a name. You have to choose the location where you want to deploy. You want to make sure that you are deploying this storage account close to your applications, or otherwise you will have latency issues. Plus you don't want to spend the money to transfer all the data from a completely different region to your region where the application or the end user really are. So pay attention to where you are actually deploying your Azure Storage account. Now the next thing that you have to decide is what performance do you want to use, is the standard or the premium. So if you hover over in the information bar, it says standard storage accounts are backed by the magnetic disks and provide the lowest cost per GB. So if you're looking for a very cheap solution, okay, you go for this standard solution. They're based for applications that require bulk storage where data is accessed infrequently. Okay, so if you want premium, what is it for? It's backed by solid state drive and offer consistent low latency performance. So if you really have that need, go for that. They can also be used with Azure Virtual Machine Disk. They are based for output or IO intensive applications like databases. Additionally, virtual machines that use premium storage for all disks qualify for a 99.9 SLA. So that's important. So if somebody asks you, if you want a 99.9 SLA, can you use the standard disk for virtual machines? You gotta say no. Even when running outside an observability set, this setting can't be changed after the storage account is created. So this is another important thing, that this decision you have to make it now. Okay, once you have this done and you have selected, you cannot change it later. All right, let's maybe, and the other thing that I wanted to show you, so if you select the standard, okay, that has an impact on the replication that are available to you and the account kind that are supported in one of the performance tier. Like for standard, if I click over here, you have storage V2, V1 and BlobStorage. Three of them are available. If I move to premium and click here, now look at that, you actually have four different one now that are supported. Four different account kinds are supported under premium: V2, V1, blob storage, which is different, and then file storage. Four different kinds. Okay, again coming back over here, clicking here, you have storage V2, V1 and blob storage. Okay, so blob storage, usually what it means, there are different kind of blobs: block blobs, append blobs and page blobs. So this blob storage, it supports all types of blobs. If you go with the premium one, if you click down there, this blob storage will only support blobs and not any other type of blobs. Okay, but it does support the file storage. Now coming back to the standard again, let's look at the replication. So if you look at the replication, so now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type of different replications that are available. 3 of them where you are doing your replication locally redundant, means it will protect for data center failures within a like a rack failure. Okay, in one data center you have multiple instances, copies of your data running or available. Zone redundant means if a data center fails, you still have another availability zone where you have the same data replicated, so you are safe. But a regional failure, this is not good enough. Okay, so that will take out everything. Geo redundant means now you are safe even for a regional failure. So your data will be replicated to a completely different region. And here, these 3 are same as these 3 with the read access attached to it. Okay, well, actually this and this are the same. This is something else that recently came up, geo zone redundant storage. So it will have first a zone redundancy and then it will do a regional redundancy as well. And for this too, which is for the GRS and GZRS, you also have read access. So if you don't need the read access, then your data will be replicated. But if you need to use the data, you have to consult or contact Microsoft, and it may take some time, 2 hours, a day, I don't know. But it's not immediately available. For the read access geo zone redundant storage, if you're going to go with that type of account, then your data is immediately available. So let's start with some combinations. Okay, first let's create an account. So this is, I'm gonna say std standard, and then v2 is that standard v2, and lrs. Okay, standard v2 lrs. So that is what I'm gonna use at the moment. Okay, let's see if I can capitalize some of this v2 and lowercase letters. So yeah, so with storage account you cannot do that. So std v2 lrs is what I'm gonna go. All right, networking, these 3 things you can go with the defaults, but what it is over here, connectivity, you have 3 different methods, and more you go towards the bottom, you are actually gaining more security. Public endpoint, it can be connected from any network. That doesn't mean that they will have access to the data, but it just means that they will have access. They can connect to our storage account from anywhere. They will still need proper authorization and authentication to be able to access our data. Private endpoint, if you want that, you can create a virtual network. Okay, you can say private net for storage, whatever, and then they put it in the same resource group. Come up with your address range, come up with your subnet. I'm gonna go with the default now and say yes. So that will create the virtual network if I want. Subnet, default subnet I'm gonna choose, and so what it will do in that subnet, our Microsoft.storage endpoint will be automatically added. One or more subnets you selected require Microsoft storage endpoint. Yeah, so Microsoft already knows that okay, this storage account, this subnet now needs to connect. So I need some kind of storage endpoint. Okay, and then for network routing, you can use the Microsoft network routing, or you can use internet routing. So typically we go with the Microsoft network routing, but you can use the other one if you like. Okay, so Microsoft network routing, like especially if you're using your premium network or something, you may try out the other one. So if you look at the hover over here, Microsoft network routing will direct your traffic to enter the Microsoft cloud as quickly as possible from its source. Internet routing will direct traffic to enter the Microsoft cloud closer to Azure endpoint. So typically I don't change, I just use the Microsoft network routing for this particular routing configuration. All right, so let's just go to the next one. Data protection used to be scattered and used to be like under basics or networking. Now they have a couple different tabs like headers, recovery, and tracking. Okay, Tracking, you should turn it on. It will just turn on revisions on Blob. If they're saving, if there's any changes you are making, it will have some versioning. Turn on the blob change feed to keep up the create, modification, delete changes to your blobs. Just keep track of them. And over here, what they have done, it looks like the turn on soft delete for containers is automatically enabled, so you don't do anything. Oh, no, sorry. So what they are doing, they're saying sign up is required for per subscription basis to use container soft delete. So let's see if I click on that one, what it does. So this is just giving you a soft delete for container preview. Okay, this is at that time when they have released this article, it was still in a preview mode, and you can read some more information about what it is and how do you want to register for the preview. Okay, so since we are here, register for the container for soft delete preview. So let's just copy this one. So let's see if we can register for that one real quick. So let's just go open up our Cloud Shell, and once the Cloud Shell is enabled, and let's just paste the command, see what happens. So register, and let's see, now it says it's registered. Okay, so let's see what is it's telling us. Refresh the Azure Storage provider namespace. So let's copy this command as well. Okay, and come back over here. Okay, this is not required, but I'm just showing you so you know how to do this. So now we have registered the Microsoft Storage as well. So now check the status of your registration. So now you can go and one more time, last command that you need to know, and container soft delete. Okay, so this is saying the status is registering. So we have submitted our request, and now it's in a registering state. So in a little bit it will be registered and you will be able to use that. Okay, so let's continue with a lab, and so that this feature is available to us. So for now, what we'll do, we'll turn on everything that we have. Turn on point in time restore for containers. Let's get that one. Turn on soft delete for blobs. This is, I'm gonna make it 14. It used to be 14 by default. And what it is, soft delete enables you to recover blobs that were previously marked for deletion, including blobs that were overwritten. So, and then soft delete for file share is also good if you have a file share, and if you accidentally deleted something, you can recover it for the 14 days, and that should be good. Advanced, here on the security, secure transfer required, I always recommend that one. Use HTTPS and it's enabled. Allow shared key access, enable that one. Minimum TLS, I recommend that you go with 1.2, but there are still some old applications, they might need a lower version like 1.0, 1.1. So it's up to you, but I would recommend, if you have such need, review the need and upgrade your requirement to 1.2. This is the most secure one. As a matter of fact, I think TLS 1.3 is also out, but in the industry, people are now using 1.2 and moving away from the lower versions. Again, infrastructure encryption, this is something sign up is currently required to enable. So again, you can do, anytime you see that, you just click on that. Okay, and how do you do that? Infrastructure encryption. So here looks like you have to go through several other steps, and then you'll be able to use this feature. And I'm just not going to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna verify the infrastructure encryption enabled. So this is, we don't have it yet. So you can play with this one if you need it. But these are features is newer and they're coming up. So right now it's disabled. If you need it, just go through that article and get it enabled. Let me actually come back and run it, and let's see, at least you know how to do that. It will be similar process as this one. It's still in registering, so it's still not available to us, even the previous one. All right, so BlobStorage public access is enabled. Access tier, okay, here another thing that I wanted to quickly mention here, this is the default access tier that you are setting. That doesn't mean that you cannot change once it's set. You can always change it. Okay, but what you notice, you have hot cool, but the archive is not there. So if somebody asks you, can you choose archive tier as default at the time of account creation, your answer is no. You can only choose hot or cool. Data lake storage. This is the advanced storage account where you have the hierarchical namespace available. Um, so there we go. So if you need it, you have to enable that one. Okay, let's see. There is another something, network file system NFS 3.0 protocol is now also something that you can use if you like. Again, if you want it, you have to go and register the product and verify the feature is registered, create Azure. So there's lots of steps that are required to create that one. So again, I'm not going to cover this one, but you can go through this article if you need this particular if you have this particular NFS v3 requirement. Okay, if you really need NFS v3 available to your storage account. All right, now tables and storage queues. Again, if you need this customer managed key support, you have to again sign up for the CMK. So some of these features are fairly new. I have not seen a lot of these stuffs before, but Azure, one thing for sure, like if you're watching this video after like maybe 3 months, a lot of things could be completely changed or enhanced. Sometimes they will even drop some of the things that are redundant and make unify things and always make this product better for you. All right, so next thing is the tag. If you have tagging requirements, just go ahead and work with your requirement, finish it up, and if not, that's about it. So that's now it's going to go through the validation, and you just say create, and that will create your account. Okay, and the deployment is currently in progress. Let's see if we can deploy this particular account. All right, while this is going on, maybe let's go back to our slides and let's just do some slides. So what do you think? Is a storage infrastructure as a service solution? Your answer is no, it's a PAAS solution. Similar to Cosmos DB as well, it's a PAAS solution. Next question, if you have a storage account, can you solve your NoSQL problems, NoSQL requirements? Your answer is yes. Your storage account, it supports blob, file, table, and queue for basic types of services. They're grouped together, and the table container that you have that will support NoSQL data. And Cosmos DB is really a premium version of the table that's available within your storage account. Again, Azure Data Lake storage, even Azure HDInsight, they actually use Azure Storage as their base storage option. Okay, just some of the things that I think you should know. The other few things, how do you get data once you have a storage account? There are lots of options. You have portal, you can just upload, you can use Databricks, you can use Storage Explorer. What I think I'll do a complete different video on that one. You can do AzCopy. I think I'm gonna do another complete video on this one. PowerShell is another option. Visual Studio. Some quick maybe exam question. What is the maximum file supported by the AzCopy? It's 1 terabyte. Can you query the data stored in Azure Blobs? The answer is no. It's very cheap to store, but it's not optimized for search. You upgrade to data lake storage or use some other type of storage if you need to query your data. What are some kind of the security options for your storage? You have encryption, you have role-based access control, you have SaaS solution, SaaS keys, access keys, plus networking. So we'll look at some of the security in this video as well. So what are the NoSQL offering from in Azure? Your Azure Storage, Data Lake, your Cosmos DB, all three are NoSQL offering. And then you can also use Azure VM and then install whatever NoSQL database you want. So that I would not recommend, but you can still get your NoSQL solution that way as well if you really like. Now let's go into the next page. Here is what I told you a little bit when I was explaining and creating that storage account, that if you go with the standard or the premium, there are different options. Blob, file, table, queue, but the premium does not support all of these types. Premium storage you would be using when you really need a page blob storage. and you can use the VM disk are really stored in a premium storage. Again, blob storage, object storage, store massive amount of unstructured data, binary data, database backup, disk images, whatever you like. Very, very cheap, but not very fast. Table, no schema. Cosmos DB is the premium version of it. File, when you need the SMB protocol, you need to map disk. You can use that one. Queue is for messaging. Uh, and the demo we have already started. So in the demo we kind of covered this, what can the general purpose v2 does. So this is what the Microsoft is suggest recommending these days to go with this account. Yeah, pretty much has support for everything. If you go with the general purpose v1, you will not be able to choose the access tiers. That's a problem. Okay, blob storage only for the blobs, and like nothing else, like the file, disk and table queue are not supported in a blob storage. Blob, you will have that additional type of storage in a if you choose the premium tier, only supports the blobs. Append blobs not supported, and no support for the page blobs. You can also use that one if you have a low latency requirement, and sometimes if you need data analytics and e-commerce, people sometimes they will use this particular type of service. And the file is also used for low latency and IOPS bursting, high performance where it's needed. Let me see how many more slides I have. Okay, replication we kind of talked about already, and access tier I told you. Hot is the highest storage cost and least access cost. Cool is kind of in the middle, and archive when you do not need the data for a long time. Remember, if you put archived data, it's not again immediately available. The data is offline and it will take several hours to get the data back. So keep that in mind, but it's the cheapest option for you. Okay, let's come back over here. So the deployment is complete. So let's go to the resource. So here you have 4 different type of services: containers, file shares, tables, and queues. Again, you can go under the container and you can create a container, say blob. Okay, and you can say private, no anonymous access blob container, or container read access for container or blobs. So I'm just gonna go with anonymous read access for container. So I'm just gonna go with this one, and you can do some advanced option over here. I don't need it right at the moment. So that's all you need. So now you just need a container. So once you have the container, so this account I have created, and I told you can only connect to this account from a private endpoint. So this will not let me connect to this account. So that's a security feature, right? So come back over here. So from here, what you can do, you can only create the other type of containers if you like. So if you want, you can create another file share. Okay, so those you can do. So file share and quota, say 2 gigs, and hot, cool, or transaction optimized or premium. Transaction optimized is fine. And let's see, file share, so it all has to be lowercase, and create. So again, if I go in, it's not gonna let me come in because of what? Because of our security reasons. Okay, so 4 types of accounts, and the thing that you want to take a look at, your activity log will tell you what's happening with this account, what we are trying to do. Tags, we don't have any. If you have any diagnosis, that will show up, and it will give you some common question, common problems, and the troubleshooting help. Access control, you can have you can assign permissions and roles to who can use this account. Data migration is a really cool feature. If you want, say resource type, storage account, and transfer scenario, what do you want to do? Do you want to move your account to a new subscription, move account to a new resource group, move account to a new region, migrate a classic storage account to ARM, or upgrade storage account from v1 to v2? So all kinds of data is available to you, and what it is, it's going to tell you. Say I'm going to change it to a new resource group, so it's going to tell you how to do that. Okay, say blobs. Okay, transfer data migration using data factory. So this is how you need to do that. So you can spend some time and look at different options that are available to migrate data from one place to another. Okay. Events events are here. Get started. This is something where you can build reactive event driven apps. Like if somebody uploads a data and say image file and you want to process that, maybe you want to add the AI and understand and tag those images like it's a ocean or it's a sky mountain or a celebrity. So you can do all that kind of stuff. Storage Explorer, this is a great thing, and it used to be that only available, only you can download and use it. Now you have the UI, and you can pretty much, so this is the blob container that we created. And again, it's telling we cannot look at what's inside the blob because of the permission problem. So you can create, okay, here create blob container even from here. So I'm just say blob2, and that will let me create this account as well. Let's me pause for a second. All right, everyone, so let's come back over here. So the thing that we kind of discussed, all we went over our slides that we wanted to cover. So if we come back over here, we looked at our storage account. Under setting, these are some of the security features and how you access your account. So the access keys, you have a couple access keys, the key 1 and key 2. The way you have it, you need your key and the connection string to be able to connect to your account. And if somebody gets a hold of this key and the connection string, they will have access to all type of containers that you have in the storage account. So be very careful with how you manage your keys. Then for Jio Replication, for this particular account, we have not created a Jio Replication. So what it's telling us, we have a locally redundant storage available right now. It's telling Jio Replication is available for geo redundant and read access geo redundant storage accounts. And what it's telling me that update your application type under configuration. So you can change, although we have chosen a locally redundant, if we want, we can change our application status. Course is for cross origin request something source. So what it is, if you want to use this feature, is the HTTP feature to enable web applications running under one domain to access resources in another domain. So you can configure that as well. Maybe your web application wants to use the files that are stored in this storage account. You can configure that. Under settings, you have configuration. Here, some of the stuff we have enabled when we deployed this account. Secure transfer enable, we did that. Allow blob access point, we did that. Shared key access enable, we did that. TLS version, we said 1.2. Blob default, if you want, you can change it to cool if you like. I'm just gonna keep it to hot. And over here, replication, if we want, we can move to any other replication at this time over here as well. So this is the benefit of cloud. Okay, just think about in your local on-prem data center and how much time and effort you will spend to get a replication available for your storage accounts. So this is what it is, just to click of a button and you have it. Large file share, right now, if you enable this, provide file share support up to a maximum of 100 terabyte. So if you want, go ahead and replicate this. But if you use this one, then you know that with this particular feature, this read access geo redundant storage is not available. So I'm just going to keep it disable. Identity based access for file share, right now it's disabled, but you can always open it. So this storage account is enabled for identity based access from an on-premises AD. Only one directory service can be enabled at any given point of time. There are some other features. Data Lake storage, we said is disabled, and we didn't go for the NFS v3. So some of the settings you can change from here if you like. Okay, so let's just save this one. So now it's updating the storage account. So the main thing that we change that will immediately reflect is the read access geo redundant storage. So if you go back to your geo replication, instead of having, I'm just gonna let it run for a second. The next thing that we have here is the encryption. Then shared access signature is where it's different from the access key. Access key gives you access to the whole account and anything that is available, any containers. This one says it's failed to update for whatever reason. So sometimes you will have to look through why it failed. Maybe you have some, I'm using a free account, so I typically have some level of restriction what I can do and what I cannot do. But let's just go to Jio Replication. So the Jio Replication failed, it just was not able to Jio replicate this particular account. So go to encryption. So here encryption, it's automatically you get Microsoft managed keys that will encrypt anything that is stored in a hard disk. If you want to manage your the encryption keys, you can use Key Vault. And if you don't know Key Vault, it's a store for storing certificates and keys and secrets. And you can use that if you want to manage your keys by yourself. Again, this is fine. Storage access signature, as I said, here it gives you a lot of granular control on how to give access. If you want to restrict your access and say only in between certain time frame you want to provide access to your storage, or maybe you want to only allow read and no write and no delete and that kind of stuff, you can also do like a granular. You can also say which type of storage or container the people should be getting access to. If you remove all that, so it will give you the blob access, and you can change the date, say end of month maybe. So you can have all of that. You can add allowed IP address if you like. Allowed protocols, you can say only HTTPS is used. And what at the end, what it is, what will happen, uh, that you will say and say generate the ACS in the connection strings, and then you will take this connection string, or you can also use the ACS token to be able to connect and work with your storage accounts. All right, networking. Here we said that only allow from all selected networks, and that's the reason we were not able to connect. So I'm just going to change that and say allow from all networks and save it, and let's see if it even like it did let me change that one. So before I do anything, we are still in networking. Let's go to overview tab, container. And remember, when I first created this blob, it did not let me see anything inside it. So if I click on this one, now you see I can see it, because previously I said only allow connection to this containers from a particular virtual network, and now I'm saying, hey, no, don't do that, just allow everybody to connect. So now at this time I can upload any file I like. Okay, so then just upload, and right there I have a file available right now. So I can click on this file, and this file will have a lot of information when it's uploaded, the tier, and if it's encrypted, what kind of file it is, and yeah, what type is it, a blob or page blob or append blob. It's everything is here. You can look at the version of the file, snapshot if you have any, and you can also do the SAS that I just talked about. Just for this particular file, you can also generate a SAS. The other thing that I wanted to tell you about this particular file, there is one feature called acquire lease. So if you acquire the lease, that means you're working on the file, and while you're making the changes, you're working with it. Nobody else can work on this file or make any changes. So the other thing, once you're done, you just break the lease and say yes. And the other thing, you can also change the tier of any file, just going to this change tier, and right now it's hot. You can change to cool if you like and just save, and that will change your access tier. Okay, so that's something else that we looked at. Very good. Access policies, right now I don't have anything. So there are two different kind of access policies, and that's a blob container, a property. You won't see this under file or any other type of container. This is specific to the blob container, and this is a feature that I really like. For the immutable blob storage, if you have a legal hold or time-based retention, if you definitely want to make sure that no one can delete your files, you can use these features. You can say for 150 days, nobody can delete this particular blob. Okay. So I actually have a very detailed video how to use this one, and I'll recommend that you go ahead and look at that video. So I have gone over a lot of features that's really not needed for the DP200, so I'm not going to cover in detail in this one, but I do have a video that talks in a great depth how to use the time-based retention policy and how to use the legal hold policy, the pros and cons about using these policies. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Blob and then go back to the storage account. So we were kind of looking at the networking, and the next thing that we're going to do is look at the security. Now for security, give me 1 second. All right, sorry about the brief pause. So we are in our security tab right now. And the security, you will find it for most Azure resources. It's integrated with the Azure Security Center. And what is going to tell you if you're doing this for the first time, it's going to tell you to upgrade. Okay. And all you need to do, you just come down over and hit the upgrade. And once you do that, you pretty much have to install the agents. And that's about it. So now your agents are installation are initiated, and the trial has been started. It's give you 30 days free trial, and then you have option to pay whatever at rate. So you can look at the pricing and make sure that you are okay with that. So right now over here you can see that some of the recommendations are coming up over here. So if you active recommendations are right there, you can click on it, and what we are seeing, secure management ports. So there are port problems, system updates, vulnerabilities. I'm just looking for any that are storage account related issues, auditing, enable endpoint, adaptive application, encryption at rest. So here I'm thinking I mean, look at all those that's coming up in your security recommendations, but they're not related to storage account. So I'm not going to discuss all of it at the moment, but pay attention. Here are some insights. A storage account should use customer managed key encryption. Remember that we used Azure managed encryption. So but they are recommending, hey, for this Azure is managing your key, but you should be using customer managed key for encryption. Okay, for more security, better security. What else? Again, it's telling me storage account should use private link connection. So I'm connecting from all over the world. So they're saying, hey, just to make the account more secure, use the private link connection. Okay, so let's see what else they have. Public access should be disallowed. So again, something that I'm using so I can do the lab quickly and I don't have to deploy a virtual machine in a particular subnet in Azure and connect from there to do the demo. But in a production environment, what the recommendation is, you should not be using public access for your storage account. You should be restricting all the information. And let's see what else is this one. Storage account should restrict network access using virtual network rules. So again, this is something related to networking as well. So yeah, that's a very, very good feature that's already available, and Microsoft provides all of that for you. So just go ahead and make sure that you use it wisely, and look at now 3 recommendations. Work on the recommendation, fix it, and improve your security posture. Okay, static website right now it's disabled. If you enable static website on a Blob service, it will allow you to host static content. So maybe you have some website, it's not like a database driven. You just have static content, just use it, enable it. And now you can index document name and error document path, and that's about it. You have a website up and running. Go to properties. If we go to properties, it will tell you a little bit of the properties that we have already seen. Where is the blob service running? Where is the file service running? One thing that's important for the exam is the URL. And if you look at it, they have a pattern. So the HTTPS : the name of the container, then type of service that you're using, and then core.windows.name. So only thing that is changing is the type of service. then your URL will be exactly the same. So if you come down here, for example, for the file, you're only changing from blob to file, but https :/ container name core.windows.name, that remain the same. So for queue, it's now queue. For table, the only thing that has changed is the table. Okay, even if you look at the data lake storage, so you will have DFS for data lake storage. Okay, that may be a little bit different, so just kind of remember that one. And for static website, if somebody asks you a question, it will be https container name then .web.core.windows.name. So this is important for the exam, so remember that one, please. Okay, locks works exactly the same way as anything else. You can add either read-only lock or a delete lock, and to protect your account. So nothing much to talk about. Blob service, we already looked at container. If you want to assign a custom domain, you can do that here. Okay, data protection, we already looked at. These are something we did at the deployment time, and now look at that. Turn on soft delete, now it's not grayed out. Okay, so that is something we registered with the Microsoft when we did that. And as a matter of fact, if I move it up and it was still in registering state, if I rerun the command now, let me see if I still have it. I still don't have it. So just copy this one. Let's see if it's still connected and it can run this command. I don't think it's connected. So what I'll do, cross it out, open it up one more time, and connect back to the Cloud Shell, and I am just going to run that command, and hopefully it will say that the service is available, because it's letting me configure over here right now. Do you understand? So this portion, turn on soft delete for container, we had to sign up, and when we deployed our account, we were not able to do anything. So I'm going to change that to 14, and everything else looks good. So I'm just gonna save this one. So this is still taking a little bit of time to connect, so I'm just going to continue moving to the next. Okay, object replication. So this is your responsibility. Okay, replication you can do, but it's not available automatically. So what it is, when object replication is enabled, blobs are copied asynchronously from storage, a source storage account to a destination account. Cross-tenant policies will show up under other accounts. The storage account may be in different Azure regions. So you can do that. So even if you have different subscription, so you can replicate your data, and maybe it's part of your disaster recovery plan or backup plan, whatever it is, you can do that. All right, right over here, let's paste the command one more time. And right now, if you see, now it says registered. That means the service is available, and we have already seen that. All right, CDN is the content delivery network. If you want to use one, you can look through it. The CDN is designed to send audio, video, images, and other files faster and more reliably to customer using servers that are closer to the user. This dramatically increases speed and availability, resulting in significant user experience improvements. If you want to do that, you need to create a CDN endpoints below and migrate custom domains to CDN. Okay, so here you already have a new endpoint configuration. You gotta look at the pricing, CDN endpoint name, and origin host name. Okay, I haven't used this, but if you really need this feature, just read through it, look at the pricing details, and if you want the CDN support from a blob, it's available for you. Now Azure search, this is possibly a new feature as well. I have not seen this. Select an existing search service from the list or click here to create one. So I have not used this feature before. So what is telling us, you can create a new search service and we can use it. So search service 123 maybe. Okay, so that also looks like has to be unique, and scale, and so replicas distribute workloads across the service. We guarantee 99.9% availability. So I'm just not gonna change anything. You need at least 2 or more to meet 99%. replicas, and if you need 99.9% availability for read and write, so you need to use at least 3. So let's just choose 3. So I'm meeting both SLAs. And the search units, they're saying you can go up to 36. Okay. Go to networking, public is fine. Tags I don't need. Review create. And once the validation is done, we should be able to create the new search service. Looks like you can use it with the blob. That has to be a new service. So previously I have never seen a good way to search the blob. So that was kind of a deficiency. Maybe Azure is now trying to solve that problem by giving you a brand new search service that you can use with the even the blob content that you have, all the files that you're storing, hundreds and thousands of files. Okay, so let it deploy, and we'll just see how the deployment is going. It looks like it's deployment. Most deployment doesn't take very long, but again, some deployments may take a good bit of time. All right, so let's come back to the storage account that we're looking at. So we looked at properties lock, we were looking at the blob services, and these are a whole bunch of services that looks like got added. The Azure search is now working. We're trying to add one. Let's talk about the lifecycle management real quick. So this is a really cool feature from Microsoft. Okay, so what it is, if you can really use this to save a lot of money. So if you know that maybe you have a container and you don't use the data after like 6 months, so you can delete that data and you can create automated rules in here in your lifecycle management that will look at the data, and as soon as it reaches your 6 months limit, it will delete it. Or maybe after 3 months, you know that your data will not be accessed very frequently, so you can change the hot tier access tier to a cool tier as soon as 3 months hits for your particular file. So let's just create some rules. So let's do move to cool. Now you can apply the rule to all blobs, or you can limit the blobs with filter. If you do this, in the next you will have you just have to go through and set the filters. Like you will say the container name and where do you want to apply the filter. So for this, I'm just going to apply this rule to all blobs. So you see here it's only giving me that I only need to configure the details and the base blob. If you click the filter, then additionally, in addition to this too, I also have to configure the filter set, which I'm not doing this time, but it's very simple to do. So I'm just going to apply to everything, move to cool. Let's say apply to everything else and hit next. So there's a if else. So what do you want to do? So we want to actually, let's go back and just keep this two for now. Okay, what I want to do, I want to move to a cool storage when it hits say 30 days. Okay, so that's my first rule. Okay, so that's move to cool, and I can add a delete rule. Okay, I can add a delete rule as well. And again, what we'll do next, enter a values. 6 months is 180 days, and delete a blob is what I want. Okay, add. So that's a delete rule. If you want, you can add even an archive rule. So that would be like move to archive, and let's say 60 days for that one. So 30 days it's moving to cool, at 60 days is moving to archive, and at 180 is just deleting. So now I have automated my storage, and I'm managing the lifecycle. So I'm reducing the amount of money I'm paying to Azure for storing my data. All right, blob inventory is a preview feature and should not come in your exam, but you can do and configure your blob inventory. You can select any of the blobs and then you can do configure, and the blob inventory is now enabled. And what it is, your blob inventory displays all blobs across your containers. Okay, so now you can add rules and stuff like that, and look for blobs or page blobs or append blobs, stuff like that. Okay, and you can add rules and you can view different things. Okay, I'm not going to cover this one since this is a preview feature and not part of the exam. File shares, again I said that this is, you again have to create a container. In this one, you can add a directory, directory dir1 or 1, and again just like the other blob, you can upload any file that you like. And the thing that you'll see that is different, so once you have this file available over here, you don't have these access tiers in here. That's just not there. So file does not support access tiering. File doesn't support the lease of this particular file. But this file share, you can map this to your local endpoint, like local computer, and it says soft till it is enabled, and for 14 days we are going to keep the data. And I have 5 terabyte for this particular file share. Alright, so again, table service, you can create a table. Queues, you can create a queue and start using it. Let's look at monitoring just a little. So a lot of monitoring Azure is going to insights, and you will see, like, even for Azure apps, VM, you will find insights. Insights is really cool. It already gives you all kinds of workbooks. You can create your workbooks, and you have a bunch of workbooks already pre-built, okay, and it's going to give you data, your availability, your transaction, and some graphs and how your account is performing. Okay, so that's really cool. And you have data about failures, your performance, your availability and capacity, and you can change the hours. You can, if your account is there for many days, you can look for what's going on for the last 14 days, or if you want to focus on a particular, like, last 30 minutes, you can also do that. Okay, so that's that. Diagnostic setting, this is something also in a preview mode. So diagnostic settings is right now disabled, but you can enable any of the diagnostic settings. So all you need to do is come over here and start adding what kind of diagnostic you want. Do you want a metric? Do you want to send it to a log analytics workspace? If you want, you need to have a log analytics workspace available to you. You can archive to a storage account, or you stream to Event Hub. Event Hub is, we don't have any, so I'm just gonna uncheck that one. But this too, you can just say something diag, and that's it. So, and it will start collecting all kinds of diagnostic logs for your storage account. It will collect all the metric data, and in a log analytics environment, all of that information will be available. Really good feature, so please keep using it. Logs, you can use it right now. It's not, you just have to click on enabled, and you can do the KQL queries in here to look at what is going on with your storage account. All right, so that is also in preview, so probably I wouldn't expect too many questions. A recommendation we kind of looked at, with, it's also part of the security center. Storage account should use private link. Public access should be disallowed. Storage account should use customer managed key for encryption. So these are things that I would recommend that you review and implement. Then comes monitoring. Monitoring is really the classic. This is the classic monitoring. So this monitoring is a newer one where you will see the insights, where a lot of monitoring is already going on. A metric we kind of missed. Metric, you will find a similar data even inside the insights, but over here you can do all kinds of metrics. You can create new chart, you can select the account that you want to look at the metric for, and whatever metric you want. There are lots of options, and how you want to say availability, then how look at the average, minimum, max. A lot of things you can do. You can line chart, you can drill into logs, you can create new rule. It's a very, very powerful feature. Okay, so use it. All right, so we looked at that. So in the classic, we similarly to what we have here in the newer version of the monitoring, you also had alerts and metrics and diagnostic settings and usage. Okay. Now, automation is another new thing that they have started adding to storage account. Task is something you can create task to send monthly cost for resources, or you can also create a task to delete the old blobs after a certain age automatically. So in this one, you need to connect couple of things. So first you have to set the authentication. Okay, nothing is connected, so you gotta connect your Azure Resource Manager, and you'll just hit on create and sign in, and that should let you connect your account. And once that's done, it's showed up a screen. Now connect your Office 365, hit on create. I'm using an Outlook account, so I should be able to connect it without any problem. So create that one. So now both of them connected. So now just go there and AZ2030 and then outlook.com. That's the email ID that I want to use. Say create, and it should create a task for me, and it will automatically send my usage cost and everything. To delete something, this is something like the lifecycle management, kind of a little bit simpler over here. So blob container name, so you have to put the exact container name in here, and you can say like for 6 months, after 6 months you just delete this blob, and that's is what you need to do. Okay, so this is your container name, and you just say yes. So that way you don't have to worry about your deleting your old files. This is another way to automate some of the stuff. Support resource health, you can look at and see how your storage account various resources are deployed, if it's available, if the service is available. A connectivity check, you can do it, and it looks like Blob service as your AD has some problem, but everything else looks like it's working fine. So it will tell you where to find issues if you have any issues. Recover deleted account, again this is a cool feature. If you have an account that got deleted in the last 14 days, you can just able to click that account, but you have to make sure that the storage resource group that used to host the particular account that got deleted, it's there. So if it's not there, go back and create the resource group and just select that one and hit on recover. And for the most part, it's pretty easy to recover your account that has been deleted in the last 14 days. And for the new support request, you just go down there and you just go through the new support. All right, I think I covered a lot of stuff in this particular video. Hopefully this is useful. So what the other thing that I wanted to, so far I only created one type of account. So what I want to do real quick, so I'm still going to use the test resource group, and this time we created a V2, right? So I'm going to create a V1, and what I'm going to say, storage V1, and then say this time I need Jio redundant. Okay, so let's come back over here because we had problem with replication. So read access Jio redundant. Okay, that's good. That's good. So 1 something like that, put there. So everything else I'm just gonna go with the default. So I'm just gonna click on review and create. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you, because this is an older type of account that I'm creating, this account you should be able to upgrade to V2. So let's come back over here while that's getting deployed. Let's try to deploy a couple more type of account. Where is my storage? I'll just go over here again, storage accounts. While that's getting deployed, let's try to use the same resource group, and that one got deployed, and this time I'm gonna get one blob storage type. Okay, so this is, let's call it blob store only 1. Okay, so we still haven't looked at the premium, and I'm just gonna do review and create. So while this is getting created, what we'll do, we'll go to the resource group, and in this resource group, let's just by type, I'm just gonna look at it and organize. Okay, so this is the storage account that we created, V2. This is the V1. So if you look at the V1 would look very similar, like container, file share, table, queue. Let's see something over here. So let's create a container. So let's call it V1 container. Okay, and say create. Okay, so that is the third account we also got created. Okay, so here is the container. This is behaving a little weird, so let's go to overview one more time, go to container and see this container. I think it's just got created, but it's just behaving weird. Come on. Okay, so let's come back to this one again. What is this? It's not letting me choose it. Okay, so this one is the V1 container. Okay, I'm gonna upload one file real quick in here as well. So note that this is the V1 container that I'm using. Okay, I want to see that if this, okay, so click on this one, and if you look at, hit the change access tier. So this is the main important thing that I wanted to stress, that version 1 does not support changing tiers. You don't have that option over here. Access tiers is not available. So you have to go to your V2 if you really want to optimize your storage, and if you really want to use the hot and cool and archive storage, you gotta use the V2. This does not even support it. Okay, so that is one of the problems with the V1, one of the distinction. The other thing that I wanted to show you over here, let's just go to properties, because we looked at a lot of stuff here already, and I'm just gonna search properties and see. Yeah, properties is showing up, and here is the storage purpose V1. There is one way to upgrade, so that's what I'm trying to look at. Where do you upgrade? Okay, so activity log, data migration, storage access keys, course configuration is here. There we go. So that's the another piece that I wanted to let you guys be aware of. If you go to configuration, you can upgrade it just by clicking here, but just make sure that once you upgrade, it's a one-way change. It's upgrading is permanent and will result in billing changes. Okay, let's just upgrade this one and confirm. Put the name of the account, so copy, just get that one, copy this and put it here, paste it and upgrade. So that's now upgrading this account. So, and the other thing that we wanted to look at quickly is our Jio Replication. Where is the Jio Replication? So the previous one we only replicated in one, but now since we have used Jio Replication, now both, and we are using read access. Now what is telling us? It's telling us that both accounts are available, and one is deployed in the east-west and another is deployed in the secondary one is deployed in our central US. Sorry about the phone call. So let's go back over here and give me 1 second. All right, so the third one that we want to look at is the account that we created just as a blob. So let's just refresh this and let's see if that the blob shows up. Here's the blob storage. So if you, another thing that this is very important, watch here. If you under the overview here, since this is just a blob store only, it only support containers. It does not support file or table or queue. So what do you want to do? You want to go over here again, configure and upgrade to, and just call it a blob store container. Most other features are about the same. Okay, so blob and upgrade, and I'll tell you that magically you have the file share, table and queue now available to you. Okay, so we have done a bunch of deployments for the standard type. So let's just do maybe one more deployment for a premium type storage account. So over here, I'm gonna use the same resource group, and let's try this time a premium one. So premium 101. And so for the premium, let's use storage v2. That should be fine. But one thing again, if you're using premium, unfortunately your replication has to be locally redundant. So if you want Jio Replication, you are out of luck. So, and rest is very similar, and you just create the account, and there we go, you have it. The one other problem that you will see, that because this is a premium account and only page blobs are supported inside this standard v2 account. So what you will have to do, if you just try to upload the file that we were trying to upload to standard s2, this is most likely is not going to work. So let's let it just get it deployed, and we'll take a look at that. And we're kind of at the end of what I really wanted to cover in this video. So I really covered a lot of different stuff. So for the exam, just make sure that you understand the complexity of storage account. Although it seems very simple, all the permutation and combinations that you have, when to use premium, when to use standard v1, when to use v2, what services are supported by a blob storage, and the nomenclature here. Now if I can go to this one, this is a premium account, and look at this one, the premium, it also does not support the file or anything else. Okay, and if you go to the configuration, there is no way you can upgrade because it's a completely different type of offering. Okay, so you come back over here and go to containers. You can create a container here, say premium blob. Okay, and you can create a container right there. But if you over here, if you try to upload my file, let's see what happens. And look that the page blob size screenshot must be aligned with a 502 byte boundary. The current file size is this. So this is really designed for page blobs, and if you just want to upload like videos and png files, you will have hard time using the premium blob container, even if you're using storage v2. So play around with the storage account. So look at that, it's storage v2, but you still can't upload an image file in there. All right, so so that's about it. That's all I wanted to cover in this particular video. Just spend as much time you like with the storage account. Make sure that you're comfortable, especially look at Storage Explorer tool. Play with some PowerShell and the CLI, and if you get a chance, maybe do some .NET as well to connect and play and upload data to your storage account. And that's about it. If you like the video, please give me a like, subscribe, share with your friends, and good luck with the exam. Thank you for watching the video, and sorry about the background noise that I had once in a while. Thank you. Have a great day.